My guest today is Dr. Natasha Kendal. Dr. Kendal specializes in marriage and family therapy with a particular eye towards high-achieving individuals. Dr. Kendal was born in Russia, has lived in Canada and the USA, and has been in an intercultural marriage for almost 25 years, so she certainly knows what she's talking about. Let's talk about parenting across cultures.
I think there is definitely a difference in some of the permissive parenting styles versus authoritarian parenting styles. There's also a difference in what parts of parenting people tend to emphasize and what parts of parenting people let go of. And that's very much cultural. So it's really important if you are parenting with a co-parent from a different culture than yours, then you kind of get your ducks in a row and decide what's important. Or if you're parenting in a way that may be different from the mainstream, if you live in a different country, definitely get your ducks in a row, because what you want to avoid is you want to avoid confusing your kids. If you have a certain way of doing things and it's not what everybody else does, they will talk about it and they will get confused. Or if mom is saying one thing and dad's saying another thing, again, that's a real conflict for a child, and they feel a split in their loyalties. And you definitely don't want to have a kid in a situation of a split loyalty. That's a very painful place for children to be. So anything you can do to, behind the scenes, make an agreement and present a united front, this is what we're going to do, would be very helpful and soothing to the kids. And it's interesting, Michelle, it doesn't have to be necessarily a cultural piece. Like if you have a parent who is vegan and the other parent who's totally into McDonald's, like that's a real loyalty conflict for a child. And you really have to decide what's happening here. What are the rules around consumption of food? Do we say we're going to do meat twice a week, or we're going to meat only out, or we're going to do meat but dad won't eat? Like you have to really make these decisions cohesive. So every time a kid takes a bite, they don't feel a real loyalty conflict. It's toxic. And I can make the same exact argument for different religions coming together. It can be the same culture, same country, same state, same town, but different religions, and kaboom, right? You really have to decide, what are we doing here parenting wise?
So that's really tricky. Have you seen homes where both religions can work?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I think both religions can work. More than one religion can work. Generally, parents tend to pick one in terms of worship. Like we're going to be multi-religious, but we're going to worship in this way while kids are little, and then expose them to other maybe holidays and maybe other traditions. And so with the agreement, then look, when you're 18 or 21 or whatever you are, you get to decide. Our job is to expose you, and then you go from there. It can work. It's tricky if people don't want to make it work, right? Like if people are going to be dogmatic about it, it won't work. But the same can be said about anything: homework, housework, financial things. If people don't want to agree, it won't work.
Thank you, Natasha. That was a really interesting discussion. And thank you all for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. And I'd love to hear from you at multiculturalmusings@yahoo.com, or follow us on our Facebook page. So that's all for today. Goodbye, Zeitien, adios, hambagashle.